Hey everybody, thanks for checking out another video. So in this video, what I want to do is I want to give a tour of probably the best personal website in the world, maybe. I'm a little biased though because it's my personal website, so I think you're going to have to be the judge of that, basically. But basically, I started making this site back in 2021, so it's about two and a half years now, not quite, 2 years and a couple months I've been working on this, and I'm very proud of it. I've done a lot of YouTube videos. I kind of streamed the whole process, and I wanted to just make another video, kind of just going over the personal blog slash website part of it, and also some news and some announcements and just features and that kind of thing in regards to the website. So let's just jump right in and check it out. So this is my website, dustinbrett.com. And as you'll see here, it kind of looks a lot like Windows 10. That's on purpose. So the main idea of this website that I thought was my aha moment for when I first started making this was the idea that when you visit my website, it would almost be like you were remote desktoping in, or you were sitting on my computer, and you had access to all the things as if you were on a Windows 10 machine, which I happen to run Windows 10 still. So the typical things you're going to see, you're going to get these desktop icons. You're going to have the start menu with the taskbar. You're going to have the wallpaper. You got the right-click menu. Basically all the stuff that you have on a typical desktop environment, as they call it, like a Windows 10 desktop environment. And yeah, I just want to kind of show how that translates into a personal website and slash blog and that kind of thing. So right off the bat, when you first see on the web page here, you're going to see the blog post link or shortcut, whatever you want to call them in this case. They're almost not links in this kind of paradigm that I've set up. But when you open it here, it opens up a real slash fake folder, which is a part of my Dustin folder, I believe. If you click here, you can see the path, user, public, documents, blog posts. And I've got all my blog posts in here. This, back in the day, my website was a WordPress site, and it had all of these different posts from my travels and everything like that. So I've kind of kept all that in here, and you can kind of see all my different travels, and it has little thumbnails for everything. The newest blog post being the Interesting Times one, and you can see here this was from September 10th. And I run it in a little viewer slash editor, so you can actually click here and edit the post, or if you want to just view it, you can kind of look at it like that. You can click the pictures and see my pictures, and everything stays within the desktop environment, so you're always kind of in there and being able to see the blog post and everything. And it's completely dynamic as far as if you want to take something and move it over here, you totally can. And then you can open that. It opens up in the same editor in this case. That was one of the first cool things where I wanted to find a way to show my blog posts. That was kind of the first big catch I had. Refreshing here just to kind of clear off all that. We'll reset here. So reset that. Another thing just to talk about the desktop environment, some cool features here is it's got some backgrounds too that people like to see. Like the animated one that's coming on right at the start here is this called Vanta Waves. I've also recently set up a picture slideshow. So this is my personal photos. This is my Stonehenge one. And I think if you click it, if I switch on and off of it, you can see other ones. If I go back to Vanta Wave, it switches every 1 minute. There's when I was in China. Some of the other cool ones I have is like Matrix. I got the two-dimensional Matrix one. I have the three-dimensional Matrix one. This one called Hexellus, which is the same one that's running back here, which is kind of a cool, almost like a neural net type of background. This coastal landscape kind of gave me a little Bliss XP reminder a little bit, so I thought it was cool. This APOD one is just the astronomy photo of the day, so this changes daily, and I thought that was a cool one too. And then getting into pictures as well. If you open up my Dustin folder and go into pictures, you can see all my personal pictures. And this used to be my Flickr account when I had a Flickr page where I would put all my pictures on there. And when I had WordPress too, I tried to display it. But I've always thought this was kind of cooler to have this folder view. So you can kind of go into my travel folder here and you can see all the different places I've been. You could pick one, let's say Bolivia here, and which is this Bolivia one? It's a little low there. There we go. And you can see here, this is the salt flats I was on. And back to wallpapers here, if you right click it, you can actually set it as the wallpaper, which is kind of cool. It does a little transition there. I thought that was neat. And then one other kind of cool feature I added recently as well is the ability to add video wallpapers. So I have a couple videos here. Again, this is another thing. I used to put these on my YouTube before I really did YouTube, just to kind of, hey, there's some family videos, that kind of stuff. But I have a couple cool videos. I had one where I was doing I got a brain scan done, so that's my actual brain. It's the same as this icon here as well. And I have another one where I had a little scene in a Bollywood movie when I was traveling to India. So that finally came out, and I was able to capture me opening the elevator and telling somebody their phone's ringing. That was essentially my scene. And yeah, you can set it as the wallpaper. So I could say set as wallpaper, and then we could just have a loop of my video, basically, if we wanted to. Or we could go back to Vanta Waves. And I have some cooler ones too. I saw this cyberpunk one the other day that I thought was kind of a cool wallpaper. So something like that is kind of a really cool animated wallpaper that I've liked as well. Some of the other fun things, this is where it gets into the desktop where I wanted it to be like how I grew up with Windows. Like I'm a Windows 95, I'm a DOS kid. I've been there, you know, to a point. I'm not doing assembler or anything beyond that, but I was young enough to remember all that. So I had many days of trying to get Doom to run on old computers, and now I got Doom on my website. I mean, people got Doom on everything, but I've got Doom on my website, and this is actually running a DOS emulator. So what I've done here is I've actually added all the different shareware games that I loved as a kid. Shareware being the ones that you can kind of share and that are free. So if you go to the Dustin folder in the Documents folder, you can actually see under not disk images, sorry, under games, of course. I have these DOS bundles. And I've kind of gathered the 13 coolest DOS games that I loved as a kid. Biomenace, Blakestone, Cyberpuck, Duke Nukem 3D, let's say, things like that. And you can just play any of these. They're all shareware, so they have their own limitations, but they're kind of fun. And honestly, when I was a kid, I mostly just played the shareware games too, just a couple levels and just to get the idea for it. But yeah, that's another fun one you can do is the DOS games, and it really takes me back playing those games. Some of the other cool games we have, if we're just talking about games, is I've also got ROM emulators. So pretty much any kind of game system, Super Nintendo, Sega, Game Boy, any of that stuff, you can just drag those ROMs right into my website and just play them. Some of these happen to be open source ones, like this classic Kong. This is for Super Nintendo. So you could just play, I guess these people, Bubble Zap, are the ones that made this. So that's just their little animation. But that's just one of many games. It can basically play any kind of ROM game. So that's another cool thing. And then let's say you're playing that, you're on my site, you're reading my blog. Another cool feature I have, if you open up the start menu here, you can kind of see all the programs I have. I have an emulators folder, a games folder. We'll get into some of these games as well. These are separate from the ROMs and the emulation. I have some actual WebAssembly or ports of games that work on the web. But yeah, if you want to play music, we got Winamp as well. This is another classic. As a kid, I would always run Winamp. And I've added quite a few features to this. I didn't make this Winamp, another person did. It's called WebAmp, but it's another really cool feature that I wanted to add to my site. And it's got all the different skins that I like as well, the WebAmp skins. This one here, SpyAmp Pro Professional. This was the one I always used as a kid. And I've also set up streaming as well. So if you, again, open Dustin folder and go to music, you can see here I got the Soma FM streaming. So you can just play the different musical streams as well. And these will just play. This is actually what I have most of the time running on my computer in the back, just when I'm working, is like background music, basically. And it even has cool things like the milk drop visualization. So you can actually have these visualizations running as well. And they're synced to the music. Oh, you can't see my SpyAmp here. I moved it in front of my video. So there it is right there. And you can see the visualization here as it plays the stream. And this is, yeah, again, something I just listen to tunes all day on this thing as well. Some of the other cool things, I mean, I mentioned pictures, I mentioned video, actually. I don't know if this is cool or not, but I thought it was a fun thing I added on my resume. I mean, that's kind of more like LinkedIn style. I actually got it generated from LinkedIn, and I'm not looking for a job either, but I thought it was kind of cool to add the resume. And if you were to sit on my real computer, these are the same things I have on my C drive, on my backup hard drive, you know, is my pictures, my video, my resume, just like stuff that I've made over the years kind of thing. So I thought it was kind of cool to add all that to the website. Things like the stream notes when I did my notes for making this web page. What else I got on here? I also can run any executable files like .exe, not any of them, mostly 16 and 32-bit, but it's still kind of cool. So you can play something like back in the day, this Ski 32, Ski Free. This is now it's free. It's been opened by now, and you can just play this like it's just a straight up Windows game, which is another kind of cool thing. And there's so many other games I have, really. I mean, you can kind of discover it yourself, but DX Ball is another one I grew up with. Quake 3, of course. Space Cadet. I didn't really play Minecraft that much, but I added it in there. Commander Keen, that's a DOS one. But I thought those were cool too. Like, this is legit Quake 3. It's not a basic one. So just the idea that you can play even Quake 3 on my computer alone is pretty cool. And it works good. Like, you just jump right into it. Like, if you wanted to play Quake, I don't know if there's many faster ways to play Quake than just jumping into it like that. So I thought it was cool for that. And I've also got some other Easter eggs. Like, let's say if you were to click the clock 7 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we should get a magical sheep. There he is, right there, a little sheep. And I've got a lot of keyboard shortcuts too. So let's say we press Shift F10, it'll actually open up the terminal. It's the same as if you were to right click here and you can open up the terminal, or it's also in here. And this is another way you could spawn sheep. You could just have another sheep spawn. It doesn't always spawn sheeps. Sometimes it spawns cats and stuff because they're part of this eSheep collection that, again, it's a thing I grew up with. I think this was Windows 98 where they first made this, and I was able to integrate this into my site, which I thought was kind of fun. And there's just a ton more features. Like if you see here, this feature review link actually links to my YouTube video, which plays in my website as well. You can kind of go through some of the other features that I've discussed. But this is more of a focused on the fact that it's my personal blog more than just kind of showcasing all the little features it has. So you can kind of see where I've put all the little touches in, and just like the stuff that I remember growing up is essentially what I've tried to add with all this. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, I could go into features all day, but as far as personal blog, hopefully you agree that it's at least a cool site. And if you do agree, there's actually a few things you can do. I want to mention one more thing. If we go back to the browser here, this is kind of big news. I posted a video about it before, but if you see here in the Vote for Us icon, there's an award. It's called the Webby Awards, and I've actually been nominated. If you see right here, you can vote for me. Not only is there a chance for the Academy to pick my site as literally the best personal website on the internet, it's possible. But you yourself can help me vote or can help and vote, and it'd be much appreciated. I mean, check out these other 5 sites. I'm not going to say just blindly vote for mine, but if you check these out and you feel that mine is up there as one of the best, then I think it'd be cool to get that vote as well, because this is what I'm kind of trying to go for is to do this. And this was a goal I had from the start with my personal website, was to say, well, what is the best personal website, and what more can I do to make it cooler and more interesting? So if you want to, you could please vote for me on there. And if you like this video, throw me a like. And that's about it. So yeah, thanks for supporting me, and see you in the next one. Bye.